This next tune here, I wrote this a handful of years ago, and sitting here talking about Pennsylvania winters. I'm not upset about missing every one of them that I've missed, in 43 years. But there's been a couple of pretty bad ones in Oklahoma too. This was about 9 years ago. We had a real bad one. We had an ice storm come through and it knocked down a bunch of telephone poles, and the high lines were sagging, almost touching the ground. And I was playing in this tiny little place right there in Shawnee, Oklahoma. And it was probably about 3 o'clock. The bar closed at 2, and I had to tear down and load my car up and had to let it sit there and get warm. And had a little front-wheel drive car, so I wasn't too afraid of driving on the ice. And I got out there and I got sitting in my car and getting ready to go. And this little old guy comes walking across the median right off of I-40. And he came up and tapped on my window, and I assumed that he was going to ask me for some liquor of some sort, being I was sitting outside of a bar. And that's not what he wanted at all. I felt like a jerk after he told me what he needed. And he was looking for a ride to Oklahoma City to Children's Hospital because his granddaughter was in the hospital and she wasn't going to make it much longer. And so I drove him up there. After a night of drinking and hanging out, as soon as he told me what he needed, that was a sobering experience right there. And it was a couple years later, I was sitting in my dining room with my guitar and just kind of, I was by myself, and this song just came to me in a matter of 15 minutes. I had this song written, and I've not changed a thing about it since then. And it's on one of the records I've got out here, and I hope you guys like the song. I haven't done it in a while, so I hope you guys just bear with me. He said, "Mister, could I bum a ride? 'Cause it's cold outside. You see, I'm trying to make it home, and these poor old bones can't stand these winter nights. It's only 30 miles away. It won't take much from your day. It would mean the world to a little girl if she could see her grandpa's face. You see, she's only 9 years old, and for reasons I'll never know, the Lord is gonna take her from her family and her home. If I could just make it to that place, I could wipe her tears away and hold her little hands so she knows she's not alone. Mister, I would gladly give you everything I own if you could help me make it home." I opened up the door, quickly helped him to the car. Well, that stretch of road never felt so cold, and it never seemed so far. Every light along the way seemed to shine right on his face. I can see him still after all these years, and I still hear him say, "You see, she's only 9 years old, and for reasons I'll never know, the Lord is gonna take her from her family and her home. If I could just make it to that place, I could wipe her tears away and hold her little hands so she knows she's not alone. Mister, I would gladly give you everything I own. So please take me home so I can see her. I have to make her understand that this time I can't help her. God's got a bigger plan. I don't have all the answers. I don't know what to say. But if you're up there listening, please take me in her place. You see, she's only 9 years old, And for reasons I'll never know, the Lord is going to take her from her family and her home. If I could just make it to that place, I could wipe her tears away and hold her little hands so she knows she's not alone. Mister, I would gladly give you everything I own if you could help me make it home. Thank you.